All right. Welcome to episode 16 of the For My Dogs podcast. Johnny, got my dog Johnny here. And let me just tell you what, I'm in a much better mood than last week. I don't know you were in a good mood last week, but how you doing today, Johnny?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a great day to be a dog. I'm ready for you to come after me right now. I don't care what the score is. Just go ahead. Come after me.
Yeah. How many points did UMass score on you guys?
A win's a win, man. A win's a win. It's
Yeah,
fifth
we've
win.
said that a lot throughout throughout season 1 of our podcast, haven't we?
Yes, because that's all I can say right now. I don't care. We're not even looking at UMass.
Yeah.
I think UMass played Liberty too, right? Maybe last year.
So I can't remember if it was this year or last year, but yeah, I was praying for you when I saw that they went straight down the field on their first possession and scored and took the lead 7-0.
And you know what? I kind of like that they scored 21 points because that means their offense is better than Polynesian Pistol.
Okay, we don't have to go there because we're putting in work against the the FBS team that we're playing this week, the low bottom of the barrel team. We are, I think it's 56-0 right now. So we're taking care of business. And then on top of that, Florida beats Ole Miss, which is just playing right into our hand of getting a playoff spot.
Are you cheering for Florida?
I hate it as much as it pained me to do it. I had to.
I hear you.
And it made it a little more palatable that it was pulling against Lane Kiffin.
Right. That's right.
I love nothing more than to see Lane Kiffin's hopes and dreams get absolutely ripped out of his heart. So he can't go to the playoff.
It's a little graphic.
Well, if you're a Tennessee fan, you would understand.
Yeah, well, I was torn that I was cheering for Ohio State as well.
Yeah, that's same here. Yeah,
I was like, I felt weird that to say, OHIO, but I did.
Yeah,
so
and
thankfully
they took care of business too. So, won by 24 points against Indiana, exposing Indiana as a fraud, which we all knew already.
Yes.
They were not a top 5 team. Their strength of schedule is just abysmal.
No.
But my thing is, I don't think the committee will swallow their pride and admit that Indiana was never a top 5 caliber team and drop them completely out of the top 12. So I feel like Indiana will still be in there, even though they shouldn't be. And honestly, they'll probably still get a home playoff game, which is annoying.
Yeah.
Because that's not an intimidating atmosphere. So, having a playoff game
is going to be really embarrassing when they get blown out in playoffs, too.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
and it's probably going to be snowing, too. It's going to be like a stupid game in the snow where it's just sloppy football. No one wants to see that.
On game day Saturday morning, they were talking about, oh man, I can't wait to see these SEC teams come out west and see that weather. And I was like, all right, come on, man. I was like, if that's the only thing that you have against us is weather, then I think we're sure. If that's football. It, football's football. Yeah.
Right. And football players are going to figure it out no matter what. The best teams, they can go play in any weather and get it done.
But I'm excited for this upcoming Saturday when it's the rival weekend.
Yes, that's always a good time.
But how are you feeling about upcoming with Vandy?
So, Vandy is typically a home game, like another home game for us, even when we play there.
Fair.
So that makes me feel better about it. And they haven't kept up the hype they had at the beginning of the season. They caught Alabama early on. They gave Texas a game early on. But they got blown out by South Carolina. They lost to Auburn, who I don't think is very good.
Beat the best team, Kentucky Wildcats. So
it's just not true. But whatever.
I'm just kidding. I have recanted my statement about Kentucky. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
We actually made a friendly little wager on that game, didn't we?
Yes, and I was a man of my word, and I paid up.
You did. You did.
But no, same for Georgia Tech. But Georgia Tech, I still think we're going to win, but I don't think it's going to be a really easy game. because Georgia Tech is kind of, I don't think they're there yet, but they're getting pretty good. I didn't believe that hype when like before Florida State showed their true colors. I still didn't think that winning against Florida State was big, but Georgia Tech has still since then. I mean, they've done decent. So
yeah, they beat Miami, which Miami is not a top 10 team. It so frustrates me that they're going to make it in the playoff just because if they win the ACC. Like, they played Wake today, and I mean, my mother-in-law has season tickets to Wake games. I watch a lot of Wake Forest football, and Wake gave Miami a game for 3.5 quarters.
yeah,
And they're not a good football team.
and their quarterback does not deserve high. I'll say it.
But honestly, if they didn't have him on the team, Miami would be absolutely terrible this year. He's the only reason they are where they are.
But Miami always just like sneaks out at the last minute.
Yeah.
Like Virginia Tech should have got the W with them.
Yeah.
But also I feel like now we're being a dead horse with the Miami thing. But I mean, it's just true.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when the playoff rankings came out Tuesday, we were where I expected us to be, just right on the outside looking in. Didn't really know how this week was going to shake out, but it looks like, and again, who knows what the committee's going to do, but it looks like things are falling in place where as long as we take care of business and we play against Vandy like we always do, then we should be in the playoff and have a chance.
Because if y'all beat Vandy, then that means that like a Tech, so y'all beat Vandy, Bama lost to Vandy.
Right.
And Bama doesn't go in. But because Bama's in right now is making me frustrated. And what I'm hoping is that Hugh Freeze is going back to his Liberty days and he's praying on his hands and knees for a win against Bama. Because if Auburn somehow, I don't think it's going to happen, But if Auburn somehow wins, oh my gosh, I'll be so happy.
Yeah. So there's this, we have a 0.3 chance of making the SEC championship. However, there's so many things that need to happen for that to happen. Florida beating Ole Miss was one of them. Then we need Auburn to win out the last 2 games. So Auburn has to beat Texas A&M and then Alabama. And then Texas A&M needs to go beat Texas. And I think that would put you guys and us in the SEC championship, which would be interesting.
Oh, crap. It wouldn't be in Neyland, would it?
No, it would be in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, it would be in okay, cool. Sweet. Yeah.
So it would be pretty much a home game for you guys. But, I mean, I do think I told you I tortured myself and rewatched the Tennessee-Georgia game this week.
I don't know why you did. You texted me and said I rewatched the game, and I was like, why the heck did you do that?
It was on TV, and I was like, well, let me watch some tape, watch some film. Let's see what went wrong. And after watching it, I was like, we didn't do anything in the second half. But that first half, if we could have kept that going on a neutral site, I think it would have been a much different game.
But Mercedes-Benz not really neutral. It's still
right.
It's still home for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, with the way the playoffs set up, I don't know that I really would want to go to the SEC championship game. Because what if you go and then lose? Like, are you going to be, as a 3-loss SEC team, are you going to be left out?
Also, though, if you're betting on Auburn to win out, that's not, don't do that. Not this year. And with Texas A&M, I'm not sold on Texas being the national championship. Like Lee Corso said that a few weeks ago. He was like, "They're still my national championship team." I was like, "Dude," I don't know what team you're watching, but the only thing that quarterback has now is the Dr. Pepper commercials. That's about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I don't. But that's this is right now. This is my favorite season of college football because it's not one team dominating the entire time.
Yes.
It is a fight and I think there's a chance to be 5 SEC teams right in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And people are really ticked off about that. And I was like, listen, SEC is just more.
It just means more.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hot take of mine.
Yeah. So for this episode, Johnny and I we decided to take a little break from, serious conversations and all that, because we recognize that one crucial piece to just your mental health and your relationship with your buddies and with the guys, like laughter and just not taking yourself too seriously is a huge, huge piece of that. And so today we just wanted, especially leading up to the holiday coming up this week, and we're actually we're going to take a break next weekend just to celebrate Thanksgiving with family. So we won't have an episode next Monday, but for this week, leading into Thanksgiving, we just wanted to have a laid back, fun conversation. And so Johnny and I decided to come up with some hot takes that we have that we are excited to share with you guys, laugh about. Johnny and I don't know what each of us have come up with. And so we hope you guys hear these and you let us know what you think. You let us know if we're off our rocker or if we're spot on some of these takes. So
wait, hang on. Before we start, I'm nervous about saying this because this could be our last episode, because what I say might get us taken off.
Are you going to get us canceled?
I'm not going to get us canceled, but my opinions are strong. And I'm nervous that people are going to find out who I truly am with these hot takes.
Oh, well. Wait,
but we'll see.
Hey, Johnny, we are a podcast that's all about being vulnerable and honest and not trying to be somebody that you're not. So if you're going to be authentically you, then we shouldn't be getting canceled on our podcast because you're doing what we preach all the time. So you know what? Go for it.
You're not ready. Well, let's go.
All right. Well, you kick us off then. Let's see how ready I am.
I'm gonna start off light. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Let's warm ourselves up. Yep.
Yeah. Start off light. So, very light is that McDonald's sweet tea is superior to every fast food restaurant.
I don't know that that's a hot take.
It's a hot take for people back home. They say it's Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah. Oh
yes.
No, Chick-fil-A's isn't anywhere near sweet enough.
Yes, and my other hot take is that Bojangles sweet tea is disgusting.
Yeah. Oh, I agree 100%.
Okay, so we're on the same page. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that I would put McDonald's first. I love Cookout sweet tea.
Right. Well, Bojangles sweet tea tastes like they made the sweet tea and then dumped another gallon of water into it and then served it.
Yeah, I heard someone describe it like that they brewed the tea in the same thing they brew their coffee with. And I thought that made a lot of sense. Because there's like this bitterness to it.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really bad.
So, okay, so I'm going light.
Yep.
You got it.
Okay. If we're going light, then I'm going to start off by just saying, I don't know what your opinion is on soup, Johnny. Me personally, I think soup is not a meal. Like it's just, therefore I'm not a fan of it. I've never been a fan of soup. I think it is the dumbest form of eating out there. It's just you take all the ingredients. You're like, how can I make this extremely soggy and make the texture terrible? Let me just throw it in a broth and just let it soak for an hour. It's just the dumbest thing.
What trauma do you have with soup? Because I've never
it's not even trauma.
You're so mad. I've never met someone mad at soup before.
Well, I'm passionate about my takes, Shawnee. Passionate about my opinions.
That's interesting.
Soup is not a meal. It's not a proper meal.
Is chili soup?
Chili, I would not put in the category of soup. Actually.
Okay. All right, just making sure.
Yeah, because it's not like, like most soups are more runny than they are. Like chili has more substance to it than most soups. So I wouldn't put it in the category of soup.
Here you go.
It's its own thing.
Yeah. All right. It's interesting. I've never met someone passionate about that. I mean, I've known you for a while. Didn't know that was your passion.
Yeah. It's just never been my thing. But I know people love it around this time of year. What I would prefer as a form of soup is I would just rather take a spoon and drink some bourbon out of a glass as my form of soup than to eat actual soup.
Oh my gosh. That's passionate. I'm going to transition from that passion because you know what? I can't comment to that. I like soup. I think it's okay.
Okay.
My is kind of going a little lighter. You may disagree with this. I don't think you'll have an opinion on this actually. But Taylor Swift, her country air is light years better than her current air.
I would agree with that take, but you know, you and I probably are in the minority on that because I mean we're just country guys, so
Right.
you know,
Gas.
yeah, that would make sense. But we probably are in the minority on that opinion.
Yeah. See, I figured these two were very light. You wouldn't have an opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
What is your next one? Do you think that hot dog is a sandwich or something?
No,
Okay.
but I am a big fan of hot dogs.
What's your
I
next
do
hot
love a
take?
good hot dog. I would say my next, maybe I thought of this one just because of the weather lately around the country. But as an adult, I don't think snow is fun or exciting at
Come
all
on.
anymore. I don't.
Come on.
You got to stay in the house and you get super bored. You get stir crazy. You can't drive anywhere. Makes the road conditions terrible. And in North Carolina, you're only getting like maybe 3 inches if you're lucky.
And it's
And
ice,
so
probably.
then when it mainly turns into ice. Then when it all melts away, everything just looks muddy and like depressing and just, I mean, I just, when you're a kid, you suit up, put on your cold weather clothes and you go out there and you play in the snow, you build snowmans, all that. But like as an adult, I'm just like, this is just a nuisance. I don't want this weather. Just rain or don't have any weather. Just be sunny.
Okay, I thought mine were gonna get us like people are gonna stop listening to us, but I think it's gonna be yours.
Yeah, maybe.
Everyone loves snow. I've always wanted snow on Christmas. I know we had it one time in Georgia, but in the South we don't really get snow. It's mainly ice. But there's an extent of time where I lived in South Dakota and we got snow. Like, there was snow from the time I got there to the time I left, and you had to shovel snow to get into the door. Sometimes it was like that part was hard. I still love it. It's still a ton of fun. You know, I feel like a kid. I really hope that we have snow this year because I would love for Lucy to play in the snow. It'd be so fun for her to do that.
Okay, but as an adult, when it snows, what do you do?
I don't know. I drink coffee, probably watch a Christmas movie after Thanksgiving, and then we will. I don't know. Just it's a fun time.
All right.
And
Fair
hopefully,
enough.
like with my job being a teacher, if it snows on a weekday, I don't have to go in.
Oh yeah, because in North Carolina, if it even hints of snow,
Yeah,
nothing's happening.
yeah. We have a friend who is from Michigan, and she did door dashing when it snowed last year or the year before, and she was the only door dasher. And she's like, "Why is everybody like not going out?" She was like, "It's just a little bit of snow." But but yeah. So
Pretty funny.
all right. So let's start cranking the heat up, melting the snow.
Yep, go for it.
My next hot take is if I do self checkout at Walmart, do not stop me to check my bags and my receipt. You should have had someone at the cash register.
Yeah,
That like grinds my gears. Like, if you don't have someone at the cash register, don't have someone, and the person is very nice, but I'm always annoyed with them. And when I'm doing self checkout, I'm doing most of the work. Don't stop me. I'm obviously in a hurry. That's why I did self checkout. Do not stop me during that time. I hate that. That gets on my nerves. I think that should be. I mean, because there's no way they're looking at everything.
yeah. I mean, just paper receipts in general are annoying. It's 2024. Can we not move to just like digital receipts only?
That's that's not what I'm getting at. I'm getting at like I did just getting stopped by like because I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
okay, stop looking like I'm not like if I'm going to steal something, you're not going to find it. I'm not going to steal something. Let's just say that. But if I was, you're not going to find it. Don't stop me. Just have someone doing their job at the beginning. Don't make an extra person right there.
Yeah, yeah. That's fair enough. I've never really thought about that, but I guess that is pretty annoying.
It was so annoying. I got so mad.
It happened
Claire,
today?
yeah, today. And
Oh
Claire's
man.
just like, why do you allow this to get you so frustrated? And it's just, I don't know. It's just a pet peeve.
Yeah. I've never thought about that one, but that's fair enough.
All right, you crank up the heat a little bit more.
Yep, I can take it there. I can crank it up. And then, as we're doing this, just want to remind everybody, the goal, we may be ticking you off. Some of these may be making you angry, but just remember, in the words of Nacho Libre, he's for fun.
Is that weird? Is
We're
that your
doing
next
this for
one?
fun.
Are you saying Nacho Libre is the best movie?
No, but it's a quality film.
It is a quality film.
I laugh every time I watch it.
Yeah.
My next one, and this is football related, is that the Big Ten Conference is so mediocre. I just can't even, it frustrates. Indiana has played at the 8 games before, or 7 or 8, before playing Ohio State. Every single one of those was in the bottom of the Big Ten. All 7 or 8 were the bottom of the Big Ten. And they get to play that cupcake schedule all the way until Ohio State. Same thing with Penn State. Penn State every year is ranked in the top 10 for God knows why. And then they play nobody until usually Ohio State and Michigan. They lose those games every year. And then they still, the next year, get ranked in the top 10. It makes no sense to me. And then they go to the Pac-12, and yes, they picked up Oregon, which is stepped into a new conference, is absolutely dominating the Big Ten, which just shows you how mediocre it is. But then all the other Pac-12 teams that they picked up were in the bottom of the Pac-12, or at least mediocre in the Pac-12. So I feel like the argument is always back and forth between the Big Ten and the SEC, which one's better, and blah, 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 blah. I just will never see top to bottom. The SEC has way more talent and way more depth than the Big Ten does. The Big Ten has typically Ohio State and Michigan, and I guess now Oregon to throw in there. But outside of that, they don't, the rest of the league is just so mediocre, and it's so frustrating. They don't have to go into each week nervous about the game that they're playing. You know what I mean?
For them, they do, because that's their level.
No, they don't. They don't. I know a Penn State fan, and I was talking to him about this, and he was like,
really?
"Yeah, I literally don't worry about any other game outside of Ohio State and Michigan."
That's bad.
He was like, "Yeah, we get to play a cupcake schedule, and I don't have to worry about it." He admitted it.
Oh man, I'm thinking of one Big Ten fan who makes you and I very angry about this topic.
Yeah, let me see if I can think of who it is.
And he argues.
Oh yes, but he's just okay. Yeah, he just gaslights us.
Oh, he's gaslighting for sure. He's gaslighting for sure. But
yeah, which he can't. He has no stool to stand on this year because Michigan is atrocious.
No, yes, yeah. That's why when you were saying that they have Michigan, I was like, well, not this year. But I agree.
Typically they do though.
I agree. But fortunately, we won't convince anybody out of the SEC that everybody in their own conference is going to think. Even the Sun Belt Conference thinks they're the best. Probably not. But
I don't think they're that delusional.
No. But let's keep cranking the heat up right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Chewing with your mouth open you should be served a life sentence in prison for that.
Wow.
Yeah, it grinds my gears when someone chews with their mouth open. So if you just want to annoy me, just start eating that soup with your mouth open, and I will just have to leave the table because I can't stand that. That's probably my dad. My dad was like that, and dads are listening. I definitely chewed with my mouth open to annoy you sometimes as a kid. However, now karma has came back and has made that annoying for me too. So I think chewing with your mouth open deserves a life sentence in prison.
Yeah. Well, my sister-in-law would be right there with you. I've never seen someone react the way that she does when someone does that.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. I can't.
It doesn't really, I don't know that I necessarily notice it most of the time.
Now, if someone's talking to me on the other side of the room, I probably can't hear them, but if someone's chewing on the other side of the room, I can definitely hear that.
Interesting.
Yeah. If my mind is just set to that.
I wonder, psychologically what's going on there,
I'm mentally insane. That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. This one may get us canceled, Johnny. Just before I say
you've been going like
I'm not holding
force.
back.
And
I'm
I
not
and
holding
I
back.
and I like there was some for mine. And I was like, I mean, I don't know if I should say it to everybody, but you just let's let it rip.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I'm getting after it, man.
Yeah.
And it's only up from here. So my next take is that this is going to tie back to McDonald's, okay? And I love McDonald's, don't get me wrong. McDonald's is great. Their fries, however,
are the best. Oh, I hate your bidding on this. Oh,
they're the absolute worst. They're the absolute worst. It's like a stick of salt. You can't even taste the potato.
Yeah, but you have to say but when you say what your favorite one, it's going to cancel out this. Say what your favorite one is.
My favorite one, and I would also stand by that this is the best fast food restaurant, is Cookout. And they have the best fries. If you get the Cajun fries, so much better than McDonald's French fries.
No one goes to Cookout for their fries. No one.
I do. I mean, I don't go for their fries, but I like their fries the best. I just can't. There's no other fast food restaurant that I would put fries ahead of Cookout.
I would put like 12 probably. But like even if
that's
even the nacho fries from Taco Bell are above Cookout fries. But
I feel like the McDonald's fries it's the same thing with like Nickelback, right? Like everybody wants to hate Nickelback and then everybody jumps on. And I feel like with McDonald's fries, everybody wants to. It says McDonald's fries are the best, so then you feel like, oh yeah, they are the best. When in reality, they're like a French fry is supposed to be a fried potato, and McDonald's fries are like this skinny stick that they just dump salt on, and you need to drink like a gallon of water after you eat them.
No, you drink.
They're just terrible.
Sweet tea or Coke.
Or
people go
tea.
to McDonald's just to get a Coke and some fries. No one goes to Cookout to get a Coke and fries.
Everything I order at McDonald's, I try and order things that don't require me to get the fries. Because I don't like them.
I think I might win in this podcast. I think hold on. That's so bad. Hey, but the best milkshake at Cookout, and I will thank Kirk Tilley if he's listening to this, is blueberry and Oreo milkshake.
Interesting.
Is the best.
I would say banana pudding is the best.
No, so like he told me, he was like, hey, listen, that sounds weird. Try it together. And I've not gone back since then. Blueberry and Oreo.
Very interesting.
Best milkshake.
How about that?
Speaking of Coke, okay, if you're a waiter or waitress and you're listening to this podcast, please listen. Because if someone is at a table and you walk up to them and you say, "Would you want anything to drink?" And they said, "Yes. Can I have a Coke?" And you say, "I'm sorry, we have Pepsi. Can you have that instead?" Don't do that, because that is not the same thing. Pepsi and Coke are not the same thing. Pepsi is disgusting, and it's not a substitute for Coke.
I don't know about that.
Oh, yes, it is. Coke is superior.
No,
Coke has Santa Claus. Coke has polar bears. Pepsi, what does Pepsi have? Nothing. So, Coke is superior.
Born and raised in the Carolinas, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. I'm born and raised in Georgia, and so I'm proud of my Coke. Okay.
Yeah.
But listen,
I would agree. I mean, Coke is the go-to, but like Pepsi's not terrible.
But it's not a substitute. It's not a substitute. It's someone's and like
it's similar enough.
No. It's like I would rather just have water, because that's the equivalent. Like if don't try to give me Pepsi.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I used to be a Pepsi over Coke guy until I started drinking like the diet and zero drinks more. And I would say Pepsi's falling behind when it comes to that. Diet Pepsi is horrendous.
Yes.
And Pepsi Zero is just But like Coke, Diet Coke's good. And this is actually another one of my hot takes, so I'll just go ahead and throw this in there. Yeah. I think Coke Zero is better than an actual Coke. I would rather have a Coke Zero than a regular.
Now, I have Coke Zero every day.
I do too.
But yeah.
Yeah. Probably not the best, but
sometimes though, I just want a Coke. Like I want the sugar. I want to like taste my cavities for me, And so like that's why I want a Coke sometimes. But I do like my go-to is Coke Zero.
Yeah.
Whereas,
For me, it probably is the sugar that makes me have that take. Because every time I drink like a full soda, I just feel like so bleh after.
yeah.
And like Coke Zero doesn't make me feel that way.
And to all of our listeners, I'm going to quote Cooper Tilly now. I'm just quoting the Tilly family.
There you go.
And Cooper Tilly says that Coke Zero is not called Coke Zero. It's called Zoke.
Mm-hmm.
So Zoke.
Feel free to use that, listeners.
Yeah, so Zoke. Hashtag Zoke. There's my hashtag for the podcast.
Shout out Coop.
Now, here is mine that my mom hates that I say this. She does not like it. But I'm slowly convincing her about it, and she's slowly going. And I'm kind of getting more into conspiracy theory now. And
Nice.
I know, and I think you agree with me on this one too.
Okay.
Is that The Simpsons proved that time travel is real.
Oh, don't even get me started. I'm all in on. I am all in on The Simpsons. The creator of The Simpsons having access to time travel.
Yes. The creator has not shared it with anybody. He's kept it for himself.
Yep.
And he's used it to create episodes, and they have come to be true. And it is way too scary for it to happen. Like we had that bridge that fell in Chicago, I think it was. They predicted that on episode, had the full episode of it falling the way it fell and how it fell exactly. They had Queen Elizabeth dying at the year she died, way before she actually died, and she died that year. We have different events, different political figures happening the same way. We have FaceTime going on that way, and smartwatches. I mean, and this isn't like Grey's Anatomy to where they just keep basing off of what happened in the past, because that's all Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy is good for. Another hot take: Grey's Anatomy is overrated. Definitely getting canceled for that one. But The Simpsons are doing stuff prior, and then it happens in the future.
Yeah.
So every intelligent thing that we said to our listeners, they have now said that we are insane because of this. But
no, because here's the thing, listeners, if this piques your interest, okay, go to YouTube, look up Pat McAfee Simpsons time travel.
Mm-hmm.
Pat breaks it down with him and his boys. They go through all the. This was a couple years ago, so probably outdated, but all the examples up to that point when they recorded this video, and seeing that was enough for me to be like, wow, this is pretty convincing. I mean, even 9/11 they had before it actually happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, just crazy stuff. That's like, I don't care how imaginative you are, you're not gonna like think of these types of things unless you had already been there and knew about it. Because the detail of it is what's so crazy. The detail of it is insane.
Yeah. Like, it's not like, oh, that was a little close. Like, no, that was like way too accurate. No, I never watched The Simpsons at all. I only watched these episodes. But yeah, so those are my hot takes. Do you have any more?
Yeah,
I got one more, but I'll end it later.
I got a few more. I'll do two in a row that are pretty more mild.
Right.
I would say I'll dial it back a little bit more since I've been throwing heater.
Yeah, I think I can hear people unfollow us right now.
So this one, obvious. I mean, no one's going to be surprised that I'm saying this, but I think Neyland Stadium is the loudest stadium in college football. I'm not saying the biggest because they're not the biggest. I'm saying they're the loudest. And if you listen to interviews of Georgia players, Oklahoma players who've been in our stadium, all these players from big programs, they will say the loudest place they played in their career was at Neyland Stadium.
Yeah.
Now, people are going to argue, Michigan, Texas A&M, Penn State, but I think it's all, and I'm not even saying that their fans and crowds aren't awesome. I'm just, the way Neyland is built, I feel like is what makes it so loud.
Yeah.
Because now, and Michigan's a full circle too, but it's more.
Y'all's comes like over.
Ours is very steep.
And
Michigan's is very flat.
Yeah.
Michigan's is very flat, so it gives room for the sound to kind of escape up. Neyland is full circle and it's very steep, so it pushes all the sound down on the field. And if you sit in the lower section, it is insane how loud it is. And I couldn't imagine what it's like actually out on the field.
No.
And like you think of the other stadiums like Texas A&M, they have openings. Like it's huge and they have way more people than us, but there's openings where it allows that sound to escape. Same thing with Ohio State. Same thing with Penn State. And like I said, Michigan's is a little more flat. So Neyland Stadium, loudest stadium in college football. The fact that EA Sports College Football 25 didn't recognize that and they had us as like the 13th toughest place to play is just clearly they've never been to a game there. That's all I got to say.
We can't get started because the ranking, like, I mean, you and I had a whole rant about that, but we can't get into that.
Yeah. So that's one of them. Another one is that I can't really taste a difference in craft beer when I go to breweries. I think they're all pretty much the same thing.
I think
if you get an IPA or like a certain type of IPA, it's probably going to taste the same as it did at the brewery down the street. If you get a blonde ale, probably going to taste about the same as it did at the brewery down the street. In some breweries, it'll be like $6, and then other ones, it'll be like $8, $9. And I'm like, this is the same thing.
I think you need to come to Georgia. I think let's take a trip down there, and I'll show you the difference.
I'm down to go to Georgia.
Now, IPAs, not a fan. I don't like feeling like I just ate Thanksgiving meal after I drank one drink. That's how I feel about IPAs. But I do think that there's a difference. I don't think your taste buds are there yet. Maybe they're not mature.
I'm not sophisticated enough. Is that what you're saying?
Not mature enough. Your taste buds are not mature enough.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. So
fair enough.
We'll see. Come down to Georgia. Let's hang out with the gardeners, and we'll show you the breweries because there's a ton of them down there.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that's our next on-road podcast.
So, do you only have one more hot take?
Well, I have like my big one.
Okay. So let me do one more before I do my big one. Okay. Now this is gonna crank the heat way back up, just to prepare you.
Okay.
You gotta know what it is. Morgan Wallen sucks. Terrible.
Oh no.
I, for the life of me, don't understand why that man is so popular and why people love his music so much. I really don't. I mean, the songwriting isn't good. That has no depth to it. It's just your typical country song. Yeah, I hate that they switched it.
That was so lame.
They switched it from Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks to The Way I Talk by Morgan Wallen. I'm like, look, I get he's from Knoxville, but we don't need to do that. His songs are just not good. And he's not a great stand-up guy, okay? Throws chairs off of bars. And I think his Southern twang is fake. Personally.
I've never met him, so I don't know.
Me either.
Larry the Cable Guy's Southern accent is fake. He's from New York. And
that's true.
He puts it on a show. But you know what? I take everything I said back. You're the one that's going to get us taken off, not me. Like, this.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, when you said you wanted to do hot takes, I was like, all right, well, I have some.
Yeah.
So,
we'll get after it. Listen, I think Morgan Wallen's all right. I listen to him. He's not my favorite, but if it comes on, I'm not going to turn it off, Okay. Wow. There we go. I did not realize your opinions. I think you have some things to deal with. We can talk later about it. Just you and I. Do you want to do your major hot take first, which I don't like at all, but you want to do yours? Or do you want to do mine?
I've been saying a lot. You do yours first, then I'll do mine.
All right, so mine is going to be a little Q&A, all right?
Okay.
So in college, I took a historiography class. It's about the writings of history. So of course, my last hot take is going to be about history. And it's that we've been fed lies about history. Now this, I know, sounds like a major conspiracy, but it's not.
Yeah. Sounds like you got your tinfoil hat on.
I got a tinfoil hat on. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay. So question number one, and it's okay if you get them wrong. It's okay. I kind of want you to get them wrong. So who discovered America?
It was not Christopher Columbus.
Right. But it's taught, and we have a holiday that it was him. He actually,
I don't know who the actual person was,
it
but it's not
was
Christopher Columbus.
I'm probably say his name wrong, but it was like Leif Erikson, who's a Viking.
Oh yeah,
He discovered it in 1000 AD. Christopher Columbus discovered in 1492. Christopher Columbus actually landed in the Caribbeans. The only reason why he is known for it because he was the loudest and he talked about it the most. So it kind of like if you and I ran a race, you ran first, but I got second, but I screamed louder that I got first. He didn't. He was. And also, you can't discover a place. There's already people there, aka the Native Americans. Another thing, but I'm not gonna get into that. Number 2, who invented the light bulb?
Well, I learned Thomas Edison.
Right. So you learn, but that's not true. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb in 1879, so everyone says, but actually Humphrey Davy invented it in 1809. Thomas Edison just changed the way he did it. He's not the one who created it. 2 more. What is Paul Revere's famous quote?
I know I'm going to be wrong when I say it.
But just go ahead and say it.
The British coming?
Right. That's not true. That was made up. So Paul Revere, came up in the 17, like in the mid 1700s. That quote didn't really start until like the mid 1800s. Paul Revere wouldn't have said the British are coming. One, the colonies still consider themselves British. So saying the British are coming would not make sense to them. 2, he was on a secret mission, and so he wouldn't have been screaming out loud in the streets. He was trying to be secret about it. So he never screamed, the British are coming. He went and spread the word, but he never screamed it out loud. My last one is, and I'm not going to ask you the question, I'm just going to say this: dream catchers are not real. I'm going to say it right there. I spent some time while I was some Native Americans. I've done my research on this, and they've told me dream catchers were invented in the 60s to sell to tourists for the Native Americans to make some extra cash. They never did that in their tribe. They never used that. It was all made up. So my whole point is that we have these history facts that no one argues against. We just accept them and say that they're real. But history has been fed lies to us. So tinfoil hat is on. I don't care that sounds nerdy. Just know your history. And like we said, always be an active listener. Do the researchers.
Yeah. Use the wisdom pyramid, right?
The wisdom pyramid. Yeah. So I'm sorry for boring you, but there's
you just killed the hopes and dreams of everyone who has a dream catcher tattoo.
Awesome.
You're making them really regret their decision right now.
You can have the idea and the principle of it, but Native Americans never used it.
Yeah.
So there's all American history is a lie.
And I can vouch for, Johnny spent a significant amount of time with Native Americans in South Dakota.
Yeah. And we can do a podcast about that one day. But
yeah, honestly, we should. You probably have a lot of good insights to share from that trip.
Now let's get out yours.
I just want to say I feel like I've created a conspiracy theory here. I've never heard anyone talk about it. No one's talking about it.
No one will talk about it.
And I've soft launched it to a couple people, right? Like just in conversation, I brought it up, and everyone's like, Tucker, how'd you even come up with this?
For the record, he's been wanting to do this on the podcast, and I've been nicely avoiding it each time.
Yeah, but you opened the door for it today, so here it comes.
Yeah.
So my theory has to do with brand sponsorships in college football and how they equate to success on the field. Okay, so if you look at the teams and what they're sponsored by, about 62% of FBS college football teams are sponsored by Nike. And then the second highest is Adidas, then Under Armour, and I think New Balance had a team or something. But, Nike, Adidas, Under Armour are the big three. Under Armour is the least out of them. Adidas second. Nike has the bulk of it. Now, my theory is that schools that are sponsored by Nike are the most successful in college football. And you may just say, well, duh, because they have the bulk of the college football team. So they have a greater chance of having success than the other brands. Well, not so fast. Quoting Lee Corso. Let's just look at some data, Johnny, shall we? since the start of the college football playoff, only one school sponsored by Adidas has made the playoff. Do you know who that school was?
What year? Like overall together?
No. What school was it that was sponsored by Adidas that made it? It was very recent.
Recent?
Uh-huh.
I don't look at brand names when I'm looking at the teams.
Washington in 2024.
Yeah.
That's the first time an Adidas school made the college football playoff. Okay? And they lost in the championship. They didn't even bring the trophy home. You have to go all the way back to 1998 to find a national champ that was sponsored by Adidas. And ironically enough, guess who that national champion was?
In 19 when?
1998.
SEC or ACC?
SEC.
Was it? Oh, it was you.
Your Tennessee Volunteers were sponsored by Adidas when they won the championship.
Yeah.
Okay. Nebraska won it in 1997, but there's also this controversial take that Michigan also won the championship that year. Michigan was not sponsored by Adidas and Nebraska was. So that one's up for debate. But you got to go back. I mean, that was 1998. I was 1 year old. Probably not even one yet. That would have been about one. But I mean, that's wild. And Adidas school hasn't won it since then. Okay, then here's where I look at it's not just that Nike has the bulk of the teams, okay? You look at the change of fortunes, change of success of programs that have switched from one brand to another, okay? ECU, your school right now, your wife's alma mater.
I have a quiz.
They went from...
I need to do, actually.
Do what?
I just realized I have a quiz I need to take for that class. Go ahead.
Yeah, you probably should do that.
Yeah.
So ECU went from Nike to Adidas. When they were with Nike, they had a coach named Ruffin McNeil. They were doing pretty well. They were at least in contention for their conference every year. People knew about them. They produced a couple NFL players. They switched to Adidas in 2016, right after firing Ruffin McNeil. And they have been absolutely terrible since then. Maybe 3 or 4 wins a year since then. Georgia Tech, okay? Y'all's rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Tech hasn't really had any success since switching to Adidas in 2018. You could, I guess, say that this year they're having some success since they beat Miami. But 2018 is when they switched to Adidas, and you know this better than anybody because they're your in-state rival. Have they been good since 2018?
No. Heck no.
Okay. I move on. Michigan, okay? They went through a rough stretch. More so than they're used to. They're one of the winningest programs in college football. But you know when their rough stretch happened?
What? When they were with Adidas?
When they were sponsored by Adidas, okay? And then they switched back to Jordan Brand, which is part of Nike, in 2016 and won the Natty in 2024. They had a rough stretch with Adidas, go back to Nike, and win the Natty in not even that much time. NC State, my wife's alma mater, they had the only 10-plus win season in program history when they were sponsored by, guess what, Nike. And that is also when they had Phillip Rivers. And then, let's see, they won the Gator Bowl that year, and that was when they were sponsored by Nike. They've switched to Adidas now, and they're consistently, they're just making bowl games, and that's it. They don't ever play for any big games. Miami, okay, we talked about them on this podcast and how they're really not that good, right? Well, in their heyday, in the early 2000s, where they were winning national championships, had the toughest teams in college football, they were sponsored by Nike. They switched, let's see, what year was it? I didn't write down the year, but they switched to Adidas, haven't been the same since, haven't gone to an ACC championship in quite some time. Maybe they'll change their fortunes this year, but I doubt it because they're sponsored by Adidas. Nebraska used to be a powerhouse. Nebraska used to be a powerhouse. They haven't been the same since switching to Adidas. They used to win national championships like it was nothing in the 90s. Then they switched to Adidas and have just been cycling through head coaches. Pittsburgh, okay, this is a deep dive. Pittsburgh used to be Adidas, and then they switched to Nike in 2008 and have had much more success because they got Pat Narduzzi. Their athletic director said, a lot of young people like that we are Nike. If they feel good in it, then chances are they'll perform better in it. Okay, the whole Dion, you look good, you play good, they pay good, right? You can even look at the FCS level, and this translates to FCS. It's not just FBS. Nike schools dominate over Adidas schools and Under Armour, if you want to throw Under Armour in. And also, me personally, if I'm a recruit and I'm choosing between two schools, they're about the same, talent level, and I feel like I'm going to have about the same opportunities there. I am absolutely picking a Nike school over an Adidas school. When Tennessee was sponsored by Adidas, I barely bought any of their stuff. Then they switched to Nike. I started buying clothes all the time.
That's not the reason.
That is the reason. I hate Adidas clothing. Their shoes, all right. Clothing, terrible. And their uniforms just look like a high school team. Adidas, the way they design their uniforms, it looks like you designed this for a bunch of 17 and 16-year-olds.
Well, there goes our chance ever to get sponsored by Adidas. So
I'd rather be sponsored by Nike.
I think you need a hobby.
No.
You don't way too
much research. My hobby.
You don't way too much research on this for any person ever.
Hey, just look at the facts. I presented the facts to you listeners. You tell me if that's truth or if I'm just spouting out nonsense.
In college, we took a philosophy class, and there's a fallacy called the cause and effect fallacy, which means if A and B happens, that means that C happens. And that's what you're doing, is you're saying because that teams have Nike, that means they're elite because they're Adidas. But you know what? You have the right to your opinion.
Johnny.
You can believe whatever you want to. You know what? I just can't believe we actually did a podcast. But hey, there we go. But you know what?
That was the most, out of all my hot takes, that was the most preparation.
I've
been slow cooking this thing. It's not something that happened that I came up with overnight. I've been working on this for a while.
That was definitely a crock pot, not a microwave one. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to our listeners, if you made it this far in the podcast, you have not turned it off, we are very grateful for you. And we just want to say thank you for listening to our conversations, and thank you just as like a whole. We have Thanksgiving coming around the corner. And so we just want to say we are very grateful to our For My Dog community. You listen to us rant, you listen to us interview other people, you listen to our opinions and our insights. Tucker and I are by no means experts. Tucker's the only expert about the Adidas and Nike one. But
I am an expert.
But we are by no means expert at podcasting, and we are very, very thankful for y'all. And today's episode was meant to just, you need to have laughter. You don't need to always be so serious, as quoting the joke, why so serious all the time. It's okay to take a break and relax. And with the holiday coming around, just take a breather, enjoy time with your family and your loved ones. And don't forget that it is true that laughter really is the best medicine. So I hope you take the advantage, no matter what's going on in your life. Use opportunity during this break of the holiday season to take a break. I know people are, you may be going through a lot, and I can imagine what you're going through. If you need someone to talk to, please reach out to us. But if you have any opportunity to smile, be thankful, I encourage you to do that, because this is a great time of the holidays. And if you're going through stuff, you need someone to talk to, like I said, talk to us. But we are so grateful for y'all. We are so grateful for our family. We cannot thank you enough for still being part of the journey that we've been on. 16, right? 16 episodes.
Yep, 16. Yeah. Just to echo what Johnny said, we're extremely grateful for those of you who listen every week, and just for those of you that have showed support, and that there's been so many times where I've been talking to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I've really been enjoying the podcast, and I was just like surprised that they listened. And so just can't thank y'all enough. And yeah, like Johnny said, we're not professionals by any means. We're not experts, but we're trying to do, a good thing that we feel like the Lord's led us to, and we're very, very grateful that you guys have chosen to be a part of that. And we hope that's brought value to your life. We hope that we've given you something to be grateful for this Thanksgiving season. We know there's a lot that comes with holidays that can make it really difficult, whether it's grieving, a loved one that can't be there, or whatever the circumstances may be. Just know that we are thinking about you guys this Thanksgiving, and we're incredibly thankful for you, and we're praying for y'all. So yeah, and if you happen to pull for a team that's sponsored by Adidas, I'm sorry, but you're out of luck. I hate to tell you.
Hey, please give it, share us with your friends and family over the break. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Talk about the For My Dogs podcast over your Thanksgiving meal. That would be
Listen to it on a car ride to and from your Thanksgiving meals.
Yeah. And, one thing Haley and I did last year that I actually would recommend, that was pretty awesome for us, is we, on the drives to all the Thanksgiving meals we had to do and from, we did gratefulness ping pong. Like, each of us would take turns saying something we were grateful for the whole drive. We didn't listen to music. We didn't have our phones out. That was all we did. And I mean, it was one of my favorite Thanksgivings in a long time because we took the time to do that. I feel like a lot of times we get caught up in the holiday and busyness of getting things ready and trying to get to the right place at the right time. And maybe there's some anxiety about, what I'm going to see this family member. What am I going to say? And we can just forget to actually do what the holiday's for and just take time to be thankful. And so we hope you guys get a chance to do that. Let us know in the comments, whether it's on YouTube or on the Instagram clips this week, what you think of our takes. You can think we're absolutely ridiculous, and that's okay. But we would love to hear from you guys over this holiday week. So yeah, go out this week for Thanksgiving, which is the best holiday of the year. And throw in another hot take there at the end. Go be a dog this week as you celebrate Thanksgiving.
Go be there for your dogs Thanksgiving Day.